Cedar Point is a roller coaster paradise located in Sandusky, Ohio. I was fortunate enough to visit this summer and ride all of its amazing coasters. Despite rides like Gatekeeper, Millennium Force, Valraven, Top Thrill Dragster, and more, enthusiasts often single out Steel Vengeance as the best coaster not just in the park but in the country. Today, I will share my thoughts on why I think Maverick is underrated and better than Steel Vengeance. First, some context. Maverick is located in the back of the park right by Steel Vengeance and is an intimate blitz coaster that opened in 2007. It originally contained a Heartline roll, but that was removed because it was deemed too intense for riders. Steel Vengeance opened in 2018 and is an RMC hybrid conversion of Mean Streak. Steel Vengeance is the only hyper-hybrid coaster currently operating in the country, meaning it stands at over 200 feet. It is often praised by coaster enthusiasts for its incredible amount of airtime and long ride duration. My expectations for this coaster were sky high. My first ride was early in the morning in the very back row. I was somewhat disappointed because the whip over the drop wasn't as good as I had expected. However, the airtime on the Outer Bank floater hill was unbelievable and the inversions were forceful. The long ride was also very good. I got 3 more rides later in the day with a front row ride and a back row night ride. These rides were better as the train had warmed up and it was running very fast. However, the elements just weren't popping as I had expected. I was particularly disappointed with the first drop. I wasn't getting the whip over the top as I was expecting. I even get better whip on my hometown RMC of Twisted Colossus. My theory for this is that while the drop is really high and really steep, it levels out super quickly. Look at the video here. It levels out almost halfway down. It probably had a good 100 feet up before it started leveling out. Let's also talk about the inversions. My favorite inversion on Twisted Colossus is the 0G stall, as it provides great hang time. However, Steel Vengeance doesn't have a 0G stall. An average drop and little hang time. How does this come so high on so many people's top 10 lists? Perhaps I'm not as crazy about airtime as many people are. However, this is still an elite coaster. It comes in my top 20 list because of its long ride duration and incredible ejector airtime. Steel Vengeance is my number 3 in the park, just ahead of Valraven and behind Millennium Force and, you guessed it, Maverick. I believe there are 3 things that make Maverick truly elite and the number 1 coaster I've ever been on. The number 3 reason is its incredible speed and intensity. Maverick is one intense coaster. In the valleys, I truly grade out like I've never have before. You can feel the speed as you fly super close to the ground with the track twisting and turning in every which direction. It's especially noticeable right after the launch when you fly over the pathway. All the inversions are super whippy, and they really stand out, especially the Stangle dives. I really felt like I was being flung around like a rag doll. The second reason is Maverick's incredible first drop. Yes, it is only 100 feet, but that 95-degree drop really ejects you out of your seat. The launch lift hill also really helps set the mood for the ride and makes the drop even more aggressive. It is not possible to overstate the amount of ejector airtime on this drop. My favorite thing to do on this drop was to just stare at the lake and feel my butt get ejected out of the seat at the top of the drop and the whole way down. I rode both the front row and the back row on this coaster multiple times, and I highly recommend you try both. Make sure, though, you ride the front row early in the day, because later, bugs will pelt you in the face. For maximum whip over the drop, I recommend the back row. However, if you really want to feel the speed, try the front. I was fortunate enough to get the last ride of the night on the back row, which was amazing. All of the elements on Maverick are absolutely amazing and elite. However, one element stands out above the rest, not just on Maverick, but on all coasters. The number 1 reason why Maverick is better than Steel Vengeance and the best coaster I've ever been on is the second launch. This launch is so forceful, and you just explode out of the tunnel. While it's only 72 miles an hour, it somehow still feels more forceful than the launch on Top Thrill Dragster. I'm not sure how this is possible because Dragster's launch is 120 miles an hour. Maybe it's because I was sitting in the back row. As I mentioned earlier, I was fortunate enough to get a back row night ride on Maverick. The second launch is literally life-changing. You are flying in the dark for so long, and it's just an out-of-control and an unreal experience. Critics often see Maverick's restraint as a reason not to put the coaster in their top 10. However, while I do agree that they're not perfect and do come down pretty hard on the first drop, they are not nearly as bad as restraints on other coasters that get much more praise. For example, look at Kumba at Busch Gardens Tampa. This coaster is often praised for its incredible intensity and unique layout. However, it has hard B&M over-the-shoulder restraints that are sure to rattle your brain. Overall, Maverick is a super underrated and incredible coaster. Hopefully, it soon gets the praise it deserves. Both Steel Vengeance and Maverick should be must-rides for any coaster enthusiast, but Maverick is just a little bit better. That's all for today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.